I'm going to run through our first full week in a bit more detail, hopefully share some hints and tricks to help you guys plan your vacation if you guys are going to Florida anytime soon, or maybe introduce something that you never would have thought about putting into your itinerary before. So on day 1 we did Wild Florida, day 2 Legoland, day 3 was Gatorland, followed by the personal styling experience at Millenia. Day 4 was Kennedy Space Center, day 5 was SeaWorld, day 6 was Boggy Creek Airboat Adventures, and day 7 was Volcano Bay. So we checked out of our villa and moved over to Universal at this point. So if you are interested in any of those things, please keep watching and hopefully you'll learn something that you might add into your future Florida vacation. Okay, so on our very first day, we did Wild Florida. We had the half-day package. So included in that package was meet Fluffy the alligator, and we got to hold him and take a photo. He was about a meter long, so it was like a baby, but he's still like 1 or 2 years old. I was too scared, so my mum did it, but we've got some good pictures of that. We got to do the feed gators, so they give you like a bag of gator food and you can throw it over. Also included in that, you get lunch, an hour-long airboat experience, and then they feed the giraffe area. So the Wild Florida kind of park is set up in about kind of 3 different sections. The first section is the kind of gator area and more of the kind of zoo type kind of animal exhibit section. Then you have the airboat section, and then once you're kind of done with that bit, you take your car and you drive around and you do the drive-through safari. What I will say, hint for the safari, is it is really long, and halfway through there is an option of a quicker route out if you're doing something else in the afternoon or you have little kids in the car that get bored easily. We definitely recommend taking that shorter route. We did not take it, and we were in the car for just short of 2 hours. So it really depends on what you're doing with your day, but there is that option there, so you've got it. And then at the end of that is the giraffe feed. So me and my mum got to feed lettuce to giraffes right at the very end. That was the last thing we did with our day. So you guys can have a look at some of the things I got up to while I was there. Okay, so on day 2, we got to go and do Legoland. This was something else that we'd never done before. The Legoland theme park was incredibly themed. All the different lands, they had like Duplo, like Lego City, like Lego Friends, Ninjago, like all of their kind of like IP and the different franchises they have in the toys. There was like an area of the park for that, so it was really, really well designed. So we managed to spend like a whole day there. There was loads to do. The one thing I would say is there's not a lot of big thrill rides. Like even their kind of biggest ride was not like a crazy roller coaster. So I think it's definitely more aimed for families with younger kids, maybe 8 to 12. If you've got kids that are really into like your thrill rides, Legoland is probably not the place. But if you've got a lot of young kids or kids that don't like big thrill rides, Legoland's a really, really great option. But there was lots to do. I personally loved the Lego City. area. They had the flight school, driving school, boating school, which I remember loving those as kids. And then also the Lego movie area as well, that had all the area themed after the master builders and things like that. So, and you can meet Emmett and all the characters from the Lego movie. So really, really good. So yeah, take a look at what we got up to on our day in Legoland. So on day 3, we got to do Gatorland. Again, another one that we hadn't done before. We were only spending the morning there because we did have something else that we were doing in the afternoon. But we had, I think it was called the Wrangler's Pick package with the upgrade of the Gator Gauntlet. Now the Gator Gauntlet was a single zip line that went across the lagoon that had all of the gators in there. Unfortunately, we couldn't film on it, but it was really, really great. And we've got some great pictures going across. And also included in that was the Meet a Gator experience. So I really enjoyed getting to sit on a gator and have that experience. But also the Wrangler Show, the Gator Wrangler Show, was really, really good. I think it was called Legends of the Swamp, was actually really good. So enjoy, take a look. Gator after the Gator show, and I went first, Mummy and after me, and he was asking everybody where they were from, and as I was climbing on the Gator he was like, where are you from? And I was like, Scotland. He was like, oh, my family from Scotland. Now Americans say this all the time, and what they mean is their ancestors or their long lost families from Scotland, and he was like, no, like they're from Glasgow. And I was like, oh, like we're from Glasgow. And then he starts asking me about football teams while I'm sitting on the Gator. He just keeps talking to me about football teams, and then when I said a certain Scottish football team, he was like, oh, I might take the tape off the Gator. And I was like, can you just let me off the Gator? Well, please. But we did it. We sat on a Gator, and there's going to be photo evidence.
Yep.
Go on.
Yep, it was.
Yay!
Very good. We've been very brave.
Very brave today. Zip lines and Gators. So after we were done with Gatorland, we went to Millenia and we had a personal stylist experience at the mall there. You have your own kind of like suite. It's like kind of storefront, and you go in the back and all the stuff has already been pulled for you. So before I went, they sent me out a form. I had to fill in what I was looking for, my kind of style, colors I like, patterns like or don't like, the sizes I would tend to wear, like all of those types of things. And they had pulled all this stuff for me before I'd even arrived. So all this amazing stuff had been pulled. I was very boring and was like, I need some gym stuff. They had pulled gym stuff. They also pulled loads of amazing stuff that I ended up buying. We were there for like 2 or 3 hours. we kind of tried everything on, had like a yes no pile, and then at the very end tried everything on that was in the yes pile to decide what I was going to purchase. And then we went, she, like the personal stylist that we had, like walked us to wherever we needed to purchase the clothes and kind of purchase them there. So it was a really great experience. I definitely recommend anyone who knows they're going to go to Florida and spend a little bit of money, it's definitely worth the little bit extra money to do the personal stylist experience at Millenia. But you guys can take a look at some of the things I tried on and some of the things I purchased. Thursday, we went to NASA Kennedy Space Center. I was really looking forward to this day. We also had a chat with an astronaut that was in our package, so we had got to get lunch and have a Q&A with one of the astronauts, and I'll include some of the footage in that from that day, because that chat, because that was incredible. Some of the things that he was telling us and some of the questions that were asked were amazing. And we got to do the Space Shuttle Atlantis experience, which was unbelievable. And we also got to do the Behind the Gates tour, which was a bus tour that took you out to the Apollo and Saturn V center, and on that road out there you also go past the assembly building, which is like the big building you always see all the rockets come out of. So it was really exciting. I absolutely loved that day, learned a lot, and just found it really like inspirational and motivational, and a great place to kind of like get hopeful about, I guess, the world. So it was a really great day, and you guys can see some of the things that And then on the Friday, we had our SeaWorld day. This was, and I said to everyone before I went out, this was the day that I was most looking forward to on the whole planet. It was my park, my family's favourite park when we grew up. And we were given a VIP tour guide for the whole day we were there. So as soon as we arrived, we had our tour guide with us, walking us straight on the rides. We'd done all these behind the scenes, amazing encounters with some animals like the orcas, dolphins, sea lions. One of the best meals I had on my trip was the shark underwater grill at SeaWorld. It was so good, and that was all included in our package and our kind of tour guide. We got to do all the shows. I also got to meet one of the project managers for the new icebreaker coaster. I got to ask him a few questions that you'll see soon, and I also got to meet one of the animal care specialists as well, and she spoke us through some of the animals that they currently had in their care that they were rescuing and rehabilitating and releasing back into the wild. So it was a surreal day, getting to meet some amazing people, hear some amazing stories, and also the roller coasters, getting to walk straight on some of like my favorite roller coasters in Orlando was amazing. So you guys can have a look at some of the things we got up to when we were at SeaWorld. To Boggy Creek Airboat Adventures, and we had our own VIP airboat ride. So it was me and my mum out on there, which was really great. We got to stop a lot and look around. He had pointed out loads of animals to us when we were out there, and it was just a really great experience that we just got to enjoy ourselves and not have to worry about other people on the boat. It was also a little bit warmer that day, so when we did the airboat at Wild Florida, it was a little bit shady, and they tell you that when you're out on the water and out on the airboat that it's 10 degrees colder. So it was actually really cold that day when we were out on it, and this day was a little bit nicer, so we really enjoyed it more. And they also had a Native American village. I think the lake that we were out on the airboat has a lot of like Native American ties, so they have one of these authentic villages where they teach a little bit about the history and the culture of kind of Native Americans, and it was really interesting. And then they also had a kind of novelty gem mining for the kids, and we got that included in our package, so me and mum had a good time with our little with our gem mining while we were there. And we also had lunch included in that package as well, so it was another really great like all included day, and another chill one right before we kind of jumped into all of the bigger theme parks in week 2. But yeah, you guys can have a look at some of the things we did while we were at Boggy Creek Airboat Adventures. We're finally out here. This is our Captain Brandon. Hi, Captain Brandon. We're warmer today on this one.
Yep.
Much warmer. Look. There's like a tiny gator behind me, so I'm not going to stand up too much. It's so pretty. then our last day that week, we moved out of our villa and we moved over to Universal's Endless Summer. So we actually checked in before we went to the water park, and because we had to pick up our tickets. We also dropped off all our luggage so that we could go and enjoy the day at Volcano Bay, and then by the time we came back, we were already checked into our resort. And then so we went to Volcano Bay, one of my favorite water parks in Orlando. Unfortunately, they weren't letting me take the GoPro on anything, so I didn't get a lot of footage of me while I was doing the rides, but it is just a gorgeous like tropical island kind of getaway park, and hopefully you guys can see some of the things that we got up to while we were there on our last day of week 1.